Hey guys, and back again, showing off another Mosin, and this one here's a little different than what I'm normally showing you guys. Yeah, it's not original, but it's this is about as far as I'm willing to sporterize one. And I said in the video with my M44 that was my first rifle, but it wasn't the one that actually got me into collecting milsurps. Believe it or not, this is the one that got me into collecting milsurps. I bought this one a couple years after I bought that 44, and then I don't know why, I bought it. It was already in this stock, and I don't know why this one made me really start to research the Mosins and learn them. Start getting into them and actually start collecting them. Not the few that I actually have, I'll say that. But anyway, I bought this one. I wanted the 9130 because for some reason at the time I had the longer barrel makes a more accurate rifle mentality. And so I said, well, I want that long barrel 9130. That'll be a good rifle to hunt with, and for long range shooting. As far as long range as I can shoot around here. But anyway, this one is, well, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see it or not with that scope. It's a 1943 Izhevsk refurb. Nothing special. Everything's all electric penciled and force matched, but I've got a homemade paracord sling on here. It's got those are SKS dog collars. Just wrap the sling around them, and then the scope. So it's just it's a cheap NC Star 2.7-32 pistol scope with the scout mounting, and you just remove your rear sight base from the original rear sight base, and then get a base for a 22. Now, a lot of guys have used them. I've seen them, and they just say to get a set of rings, scope rings for a 22. Well, I'm here to tell you that didn't work on this one. I don't know what it was. I tried 2 or 3 different brands of rings and styles. None of them worked. I'd be trying to sight the scope in, and the rings would work out the end, and the scope would just fall off. And so I ended up getting this big solid base here. I bought this several years ago, probably off of eBay, or might have been Optics Planet. I don't even remember what the brand of it is now. It's got those 3 bolts on it, and actually I had those cranked down and Loctite, and it was still sliding off. So what I did was I notched that, and that's pretty crude because I just use a hacksaw blade, but put those notches in it, and then I drove the pins back in that hold on the original sight base, and it is now solid. I've put several rounds through this rifle with this setup on it, and it is now it's staying, it's holding. But this is a ATI Monte Carlo stock, and like I said, I don't remember the brand of this, but I'm pretty sure I got it off Optics Planet. And the NC Star 2.7-32 pistol scope. It's a cheap scope, but it works. I've always been a purist. I've well, not always, but for the most part I have been. I just could never bring myself to, granted, yeah, It's a refurb 9130 43 Izhevsk rather. The most common of the 9130s, but I still can never bring myself to drill and tap it, cut the bolt, all that. Granted, I started to when I first got it. Then when I got into actually, like I said, this one actually got me into like researching and everything, the Mosins, and I kind of decided, no, I'm going to leave it. That way it can be put back to its original condition someday, instead of, you know, cutting the barrel and recrowning and all that stuff. But I've still got the front side on this one. I know a lot of guys say drive them off, and honestly, the only time I can see it through this scope is when I actually turn it back on to power. You can actually just get a little glimpse of the globe in the bottom of the scope. But other than that, it's, I don't really see much problems with it. And this is just a, you know, wartime produced 43. You can see how rough the receiver is when they were forcing them out, you know, 42 and 43. Bolt is you can see it's electro penciled on there. It's a bunch of mixed up markings on it. But anymore, I can't really see doing this to rifles, military rifles. You know, it's nowadays with the Savage Axis and rifles like that these manufacturers are now producing, I can't see doing this to military rifles, sporterizing them anymore. Just go with one of those. But if you got to do it, this is the way I would recommend it. You know, you're not permanently altering the rifle. It can still go back into its original configuration. And that's about as far as I'm going to get into that. So, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to comment, you know, feel free to comment. Give me a subscribe. And I'll see you guys later.